Accuse. To accuse someone of something is to blame them for doing it.
She accused her brother of breaking her computer.
Adjust. To adjust something means to change it so it is better.
He adjusted the old guitar to make it sound better.
Amuse. To amuse someone means to do something that is funny or entertaining.
The singer was very good. She amused the crowd.
Coral. Coral is the hard, colorful material formed by the shells of animals.
The diver admired the beautiful coral under the water.
Cotton. Cotton is a cloth made from the fibers of the cotton plant.
I like to wear clothes made from cotton in the summer.
Crash. To crash means to hit and break something.
There was a loud noise when the car crashed into the tree.
Deck. A deck is a wooden floor built outside of a house or the floor of a ship.
A ship will store many supplies below its deck.
Engage. To engage in something means to do it.
Dad was engaged in sawing a piece of wood in half.
Firm. When something is firm, it is solid but not too hard.
He sleeps better on a firm bed.
Fuel. Fuel is something that creates heat or energy.
Heat is the fuel that comes from fire.
Grand. When something is grand, it is big and liked by people.
The grand mountain rose high into the sky.
Hurricane. A hurricane is a bad storm that happens over the ocean.
The wind from the hurricane bent the palm tree.
Loss. A loss means the act or an instance of losing something.
I suffered a big loss while I was gambling.
Plain. If something is simple, it is plain and not decorated.
He bought a pair of plain white shoes over the weekend.
Reef. A reef is a group of rocks or coral that rise to or near the ocean.
He walked along the reef and looked at the water below.
Shut. To shut something means to close it tightly.
Please shut the door. The air outside is cold.
Strict. When someone is strict, they make sure others follow rules.
The teacher is strict. She does not let students talk in class.
Surf. To surf means to use a special board to ride on waves in the ocean.
The students went to the beach to surf during their vacation.
Task. A task is work that someone has to do.
Who has the task of building the brick wall?
Zone. A zone is an area that has different qualities from the ones around it.
Firefighters often work in danger zones.
Apology. An apology is something someone says to show that they are sorry.
After arguing with her teacher, the girl wrote the teacher an apology.
Bold. If someone is bold, they are not afraid of doing something.
The bold man climbed the high mountain.
Capture. To capture someone or something is to catch them.
James tried to capture the bubbles in his hands.
Cardinal. If a rule or quality is cardinal, then it is the most important one.
Raising your hand in the classroom before you speak is a cardinal rule.
Duke. A duke is a man of high social rank, but below a king or queen.
The Duke ruled over the land.
Expose. To expose is to make known something that is hidden.
He took off his shirt, exposing his costume.
Guilty. If people feel guilty, they feel bad for what they did.
I felt guilty for taking my sister's cookies.
Hire. To hire someone is to pay them money to work for you.
We hired a man to paint our house.
Innocent. If someone is innocent, they are not guilty of a crime.
The judge said that the woman was innocent of the crime.
Jail. Jail is a place where criminals go to be punished.
The thief was caught and sent to jail for 10 years.
Minister. A minister is an important person in government with many duties.
The Minister of Education controls the country's schools.
Ordinary. If someone or something is ordinary, they are not special in any way.
Today was just an ordinary day. Nothing unusual happened.
Permanent. If something is permanent, it lasts for a long time or forever.
We don't know if Aunt Mildred's visit will be a permanent one.
Preserve. To preserve is to protect something from harm.
Dad sprayed a chemical on the house to help preserve its looks.
Pronounce. To pronounce is to say the sounds of letters or words.
Young children often have trouble pronouncing words right.
Resemble. To resemble someone is to look like them.
The baby resembles his father a great deal.
Symptom. A symptom of a bad condition or illness is a sign that it is happening.
Sneezing and a high fever are symptoms of the common cold.
Tobacco. Tobacco is a plant whose leaves are smoked, such as in cigarettes.
The tobacco in cigarettes is bad for your health.
Twin. Twins are two children born at the same time.
My sister and I are twins. We look exactly the same.
Witch. A witch is a woman with magical powers.
People think that witches fly around on broomsticks.
Accompany. To accompany other people means to join them or go with them.
My brothers accompanied me to the movie.
Bare. When something is bare, it is plain. It has no covering.
He likes to walk around in his bare feet.
Branch. A branch is the part of a tree with leaves.
The monkey was hanging from a branch on the tree.
Breath. A breath is the air that goes into and out of one's lungs.
You can't take a breath underwater.
Bridge. A bridge is something that is built over a river so people can cross it.
The old bridge fell into the river.
Cast. To cast something means to throw it.
The fisherman cast his line into the water.
Dare. To dare means to be brave enough to try something.
He dared to jump out of the airplane and skydive.
Electronic. When something is electronic, it uses electricity to do something.
I like having electronic devices such as an MP3 player.
Inn. An inn is a place where travelers can rest and eat.
The visitor got a room at the inn.
Net. A net is a bag made of strong thread. It is used to catch animals.
The boy caught butterflies in his net.
Philosophy. A philosophy is a way to think about truth and life.
My philosophy is live and let live.
Pot. A pot is a deep round metal container used for cooking.
Don't touch the pot on the stove. It's hot.
Seed. A seed is the hard part of a plant or fruit that trees grow from.
I planted the seed in the dirt, hoping that it would grow into a tree.
Sharp. When something is sharp, it has a thin edge that cuts things easily.
That knife is very sharp. Be careful not to hurt yourself.
Sort. A sort of something is a type of it.
What sort of instrument do you want to learn to play?
Subtract. To subtract means to take something away.
We learned how to subtract numbers from each other in class.
Tight. When something is tight, it is fixed or fastened firmly in place.
The knots were too tight to untie.
Virtual. If something is virtual, then it is very close to being true or accurate.
Because he's popular, Joe is the virtual leader of the group.
Weigh. To weigh something means to see how heavy it is.
The little dog weighed exactly 3 kilograms.
Whisper. To whisper means to say very quietly.
We have to whisper in the library so people can focus on reading.
Abstract. If ideas are abstract, they are based on general ways of thinking.
The idea of beauty is abstract and changes over time.
Annual. If something is annual, it happens once a year.
The only time I see my aunts and uncles is at our annual family picnic.
Clay. Clay is a type of heavy, wet soil used to make pots.
She made a bowl out of the clay.
Cloth. Cloth is material used to make clothes.
His shirt is made of a very soft type of cloth.
Curtain. A curtain is a cloth hung over a window or used to divide a room.
She opened the curtains to let light into the room.
Deserve. To deserve is to be worthy of something as a result of one's actions.
The dog deserved a bone for behaving very well.
Feather. Feathers are the things covering birds' bodies.
That bird has orange feathers on its chest.
Fertile. If land is fertile, it is able to produce good crops and plants.
The farmer grew many vegetables in the fertile soil.
Flood. A flood is an event in which water covers an area which is usually dry.
After 3 days of rain, there was a flood in the city.
Furniture. Furniture is the things used in a house, such as tables and chairs.
His living room only had a few simple pieces of furniture.
Grave. A grave is the place where a dead person is buried.
We visit our grandfather's grave each year.
Ideal. If something is ideal, it is the best that it can possibly be.
This house is an ideal place for my family. It has everything we need.
Intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to learn and understand things.
Because of his high intelligence, he finished school early.
Nowadays. If something happens nowadays, it happens at the present time.
In the past, people walked everywhere. Nowadays, they use cars.
Obtain. To obtain is to get something you want or need.
After I passed the test, I obtained my driver's license.
Religious. When something is religious, it has to do with religion.
The holy man spoke about religious topics.
Romantic. When something is romantic, it has to do with love.
The young couple went to see a romantic movie.
Shell. A shell is a hard covering that protects the body of some sea creatures.
There were many pretty shells on the beach.
Shore. A shore is the edge of a large body of water.
All of the boats were floating near the shore.
Wheel. A wheel is a round thing on a vehicle that turns when it moves.
A car has 4 wheels.
Appeal. To appeal to someone is to be interesting or attractive to them.
Sleeping all day appeals to me, but I have to go to school.
Assume. To assume something is to think that it is true, even with no proof.
I assume you are both familiar with this plan?
Borrow. To borrow something is to take it and then give it back later.
Can I borrow a pencil to use today? I'll give it back to you tomorrow.
Client. A client is a person or business that pays another to do a service.
She has many clients who enjoy coming to her salon.
Downtown. The downtown is the center of most cities.
The downtown is filled with many tall buildings.
Dull. If something is dull, it is not exciting.
The movie was very dull. I fell asleep watching it.
Embarrass. To embarrass someone is to make them feel ashamed or foolish.
He was embarrassed when he couldn't remember her name.
Fare. A fare is an amount of money paid to use a bus, train, or taxi.
Since he is a senior, my grandfather pays a low fare for the bus.
Former. Former describes something that used to be, but is not anymore.
The hotel, a former castle, was built over 200 years ago.
Formula. A formula is a set mathematical way or method of solving a problem.
I learned a new formula that may help us with our problem.
Found. To found a company or organization means to start it.
The Pilgrims founded one of the first colonies in the United States.
Invest. To invest means to use money in a way that will bring a profit later.
I invested money in a new building that should bring me a profit.
Loan. A loan is the act of lending something, usually money.
I got a loan from the bank.
Practical. If something is practical, it is useful in normal life.
Learning English is practical. You can use it in many places.
Quarter. A quarter is 25 cents.
He paid a quarter for the candy.
Salary. A salary is how much money a person makes at his or her job.
He got a new job with a better salary.
Scholarship. A scholarship is money given to one so they can go to school.
I got a scholarship to help me pay for university.
Temporary. If something is temporary, it exists for a short time.
This car is only temporary. I'll get a new one soon.
Treasure. A treasure is a collection of valuable things, especially jewels or gold.
They became very rich when they found the buried treasure.
Urge. To urge someone is to try very hard to get them to do something.
He urged them to believe his story.